Welcome back to the Explainer. Okay, today we are diving straight into something that is about to completely change how we live and work. We're looking at the 2026 reality of hard AI. We're finally moving way past the era where artificial intelligence just lived inside our laptops generating text. We are officially in the age where AI has a physical body. And today, we're going to explore exactly how these new and upcoming AI robots are transitioning from clunky novelties into absolute necessities, both in our daily lives and our workplaces.
Here's the game plan for today. We'll kick things off with AI robots in the 2026 reality. Then we'll look at automating your daily life, the new hybrid workplace, companions and community care, and finally, zoom out to regulations and the job market.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, AI robots and the 2026 reality.
So, when you hear the word robot, you might still picture a machine aimlessly bumping into your living room furniture, right? For the longest time, robots were, well, pretty dumb. They required rigid, expensive coding for literally every single movement. Actually, scratch that. Mostly they just needed constant rescuing. But the 2026 standard is a total game changer. It's built on vision, language, action models. Now, instead of us programming every tiny movement, soft AI, the kind of generative AI we use every day, creates dynamic instructions for the physical robot. The robot perceives a messy room, decides what needs to be done, and takes action. It actually understands the concept of the task.
And that brings us to this term, physical AI. Basically, this technology completely narrows the gap between a computer simulation and real-world execution. Because these systems now understand and align with real-world physics, they have vastly improved stability and safety. And when you combine this massive leap in brainpower with hardware costs that are just plummeting right now, robots are finally crossing that threshold from speculative R&D into a serious commercial reality.
Moving right along to Section 2, automating your daily life.
Let's talk about the consumer side, where AI is finally delivering on its big promises for our homes. We're talking about saving hours of your time without forcing you to play IT support. The newest vacuums and mops? They use multi-floor mapping and advanced object recognition, meaning no more rescuing the machine because it tried to eat your phone charger. Out in the yard, wire-free robotic mowers are the new standard. They use real-time kinematics, LiDAR, and AI vision to navigate complex lawns without you having to bury a single boundary wire. And for all the pet owners out there, it's moved way beyond basic automatic feeders. We now have entire pet care ecosystems using AI to track eating habits and autonomously turn that data into early health signals.
Now look at this scene. It perfectly illustrates our next big shift. Right now, human teams are sitting around boardroom tables, actively strategizing for a hybrid workforce. They aren't just looking at next quarter's financials. They're trying to figure out exactly how to seamlessly integrate these physical AI agents alongside their human staff.
Which brings us to Section 3, the new hybrid workplace.
In industries like hospitality and logistics, we're seeing two distinct flavors of hard AI transforming the workplace. First up, you have the specialist. These are your singular task robots built for flawless 24/7 execution. Think of robotic ghost kitchens flipping burgers perfectly every single time, or automated storage systems just flying through warehouses. They do one thing, and they do it perfectly. Then, on the other hand, we have the generalist. These are the multitask humanoids. Since our hotels and offices are designed for human bodies, these bipedal robots feature human-centric actuation. They can smoothly push a luggage cart in the morning and then completely transition to delivering room service at night based entirely on demand.
But here's the catch. You can't just drop a fleet of robots into a traditional building. As we saw highlighted at CES 2026, businesses have to stop designing for a human-only workforce. Look at these steps for redesigning back-of-house operations. Step 1. Building high-density energy infrastructure. The industry calls these robot dorms to manage all that rapid charging heat. Step 2. Setting up dedicated data and maintenance bays. Think of them like internal pit crews for diagnostics. And Step 3. Building physical traffic management architecture, like autonomous lanes and service corridors, just to prevent human-machine gridlock.
And you might be wondering, why are businesses spending so much money on this infrastructure? Well, it's because of cold, hard workforce realities. 73% of warehouse operators say they cannot find enough workers to fully staff their operations. AI-powered mobile robots aren't just a fun novelty anymore. They are literally solving a critical, massive labor shortage by taking over the heavy, repetitive tasks.
Moving outward, let's look at Section 4, companions and community care. Take a second to read this quote from Dr. Lillian Hung.
She's a researcher investigating AI companions in long-term care homes. She points out that because social robots, like those really popular Lavo units, don't speak human language, participants have to use their imaginations to interact. It's such a beautiful insight, really. It proves that the tech doesn't have to perfectly mimic a human to foster a deep, meaningful connection.
And the research backing this up is just amazing. These AI companions offer profound psychosocial benefits. They bring joy and laughter into long-term care homes, which really breaks up the daily routine. They inspire creativity, with residents inventing stories for them. But most importantly, they offer consistent reassurance. For older adults, especially those navigating dementia, these robots use machine learning to adapt and provide comfort. In some cases, they can completely calm aggressive behaviors, and they do it all without requiring any of the physical demands of taking care of a real pet.
But let's step out of the care home and onto the street for a second. Public area mobile robots, or PMRs, are rapidly scaling up on our sidewalks, our university campuses, and in our neighborhoods. We are watching delivery robots transition from these tightly managed corporate fleets to individual ownership by local small businesses, and that brings a whole new layer of complexity to our public infrastructure.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 5, Regulations and the Job Market.
Regulating these robots in public spaces is turning into a massive headache for municipalities. Think about it. Where do these machines stop or wait without completely blocking a narrow sidewalk? How do we program them for street crossings where human drivers usually rely on a quick head nod or eye contact? Plus, you have major equity and privacy concerns around all the cameras and sensors they use. Interestingly enough, experts are pointing out that the best regulatory changes might just be low-tech, things like lowering vehicle speed limits and creating wider shared spaces for both pedestrians and robots.
Now, zooming way out to the global economy, we have to talk about this vital statistic: 40%. The International Monetary Fund estimates that 40% of jobs globally could be impacted by artificial intelligence. That is the staggering scale of potential displacement and job polarization we're looking at right now as these physical and digital AI agents enter the workforce.
Just look at the data here. Over the last decade, we've seen this massive, explosive upward trajectory in AI job postings across top developed nations. Rapid digitalization is completely reshaping what employers are demanding. But here's the big question. Does more AI automatically mean massive unemployment for humans? Well, the answer is incredibly nuanced.
A massive study by the World Bank dug into exactly this, and they found that the macroeconomic environment dictates basically everything. If we're in a high inflation environment, businesses are squeezed. They resort to cost-driven automation, which displaces middle-skill workers and drives unemployment up. However, in a low-inflation environment, expanding AI roles actually fosters labor reallocation and boosts productivity, which can reduce unemployment. It is just an impartial economic reality. The cycle of the economy completely changes whether AI acts as a job creator or a job destroyer. Because of this dynamic, policymakers absolutely must avoid a one-size-fits-all approach. The recommended solutions rely on what we call cyclicality-sensitive interventions. Basically, governments need demand stabilization measures during tough times to prevent panic-driven automation. They also need highly targeted reskimming programs and deep structural reforms to manage how labor moves around. The ultimate goal here is to harness the immense benefits of AI while protecting everyday workers from its polarizing effects. Which brings us to the end of our expanding circles today, and leaves us with one incredibly important question to chew on. Is your local infrastructure and job market actually prepared for the integration of these AI fleets? Whether it's a multitask humanoid working at your local hotel, a delivery robot sharing your sidewalk, or the changing nature of your very own profession, the 2026 reality of hard AI is already here. Thank you so much for joining me on The Explainer today. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I will see you next time.